God says read this slowly and stay calm, because a message like this is designed to create shock and curiosity at the same time, especially when it mentions something personal like an inheritance and adds a mysterious element like, the person who sent it isn't alive anymore, and when names like Archangel Michael are used, it is often to make the message feel powerful and believable, not because it is actually real. So instead of reacting immediately, you need to pause and think logically about what is actually happening in your life right now. Ask yourself clearly, are you expecting any official letter about inheritance, any legal notice, or any communication from a known source? Because real inheritance matters never come through sudden, vague, and urgent messages, they come through proper legal channels, verified documents, and clear communication from identifiable people or institutions, not through something that tells you to open immediately, without giving any real details, and this is the first sign that the message is trying to create a reaction, not deliver real information. Your mind might start imagining possibilities, especially because the idea sounds unusual and mysterious, but it is important to understand that curiosity and imagination can make something feel real even when it is not, and that is exactly what such messages depend on. They create a situation that feels personal and urgent so that you stop questioning and start reacting. But the moment you slow down and analyze it, you realize there is no proof, no confirmation, and nothing in your surroundings that supports it. The symbolism connected with Archangel Michael is often associated with protection and awareness, not fear or pressure, and real guidance never creates panic or forces you to act quickly. It allows you to think calmly and make decisions with clarity, and right now your clarity is what matters most, because when you stay calm, you can easily see that nothing in your real life has suddenly changed, no official message has reached you, and no confirmed situation exists. If there were ever a real inheritance or legal matter, it would involve proper procedures, verified identities, and direct communication that you could confirm step by step, not a sudden mysterious statement about someone who is no longer alive sending you something, and this simple logic is enough to break the illusion completely, because real life does not operate on vague and dramatic claims. It operates on clear and verifiable facts. So instead of reacting to the message, bring your focus back to reality, where everything is normal, where no unexpected event has occurred, and where your life is still under your control, because your decisions should always be based on what is real, not on what is suggested without proof, and once you understand this, the message loses its impact completely. In the end, remember this clearly, not everything that sounds shocking is true, not everything that feels personal is real, and not everything urgent deserves your reaction, and when you choose to pause, observe, and think logically, you protect your mind from unnecessary confusion and keep your decisions grounded in reality, and that is your real strength. You are still here, then take a moment to slow down even more, because now this is not about the message, it is about how you understand and respond to it, and that matters, because a message like this is carefully written to feel personal and important, especially by mentioning inheritance, which is something serious, and then adding a mysterious line about the sender not being alive anymore, which creates curiosity and a sense of urgency at the same time. And when both of these emotions combine, your mind starts searching for answers even when there is no real situation, and that is how such messages pull your attention deeper. But the moment you pause and think logically, you begin to see that nothing in your real life supports what is being said. Now ask yourself again, has any trusted person informed you about such a situation, any family member, any legal authority, or any official communication? Because real inheritance matters involve clear steps, proper documentation, and verified communication, not sudden, unclear instructions to open immediately. And this is where your awareness becomes important, because once you recognize that there is no real source behind the message, it becomes easier to separate it from reality, and when you separate it, your mind naturally becomes calm, because you are no longer trying to make sense of something that has no real meaning. Your thoughts may still try to imagine possibilities, because the idea itself sounds unusual and attention-grabbing, but it is important to understand that not every thought needs to be followed, especially when it is triggered by something unclear, and this is where you take control, by observing your thoughts instead of reacting to them, by asking yourself whether there is any real proof, and when the answer is no, you let those thoughts pass instead of holding on to them, and that is what keeps your mind stable and free from unnecessary stress. The use of names like Archangel Michael in such messages is often meant to add a sense of importance or authority, but real meaning never comes with confusion or pressure, it comes with clarity and understanding. And that is exactly what you are choosing right now. You are not rushing, you are not reacting, you are thinking, and that thinking is what protects you, because it keeps you grounded in what is real instead of what is suggested. Now bring your focus back to your present moment again. Notice that everything is normal, nothing unexpected has happened, and there is no real indication that something important is being delivered to you, and this simple observation is enough to keep you grounded, because reality is always visible and consistent. It does not depend on sudden or mysterious messages, and when you trust that reality, your mind remains calm and clear. At this stage, you are in control, because you are not being influenced by curiosity or urgency, you are choosing awareness, and that awareness helps you make better decisions, because you are not acting on impulse, you are acting on understanding, and that is what keeps you safe, focused, and stable in situations like this. If you are still here, then this is the stage where your understanding becomes deeper and more stable, because now you are not just questioning the message, you are fully seeing through it, and that clarity is important, because earlier the idea of an inheritance letter may have created curiosity or confusion, but now you can clearly recognize that it had no real connection to your life. It only used a serious topic to capture your attention, and once your attention was captured, it added mystery and urgency to keep you engaged, but the moment you slowed down and thought logically, that entire effect started to disappear, because you realized that there is no real source, no confirmation, and nothing in your surroundings that supports the claim. At this point, your mind may still try to explore, what-if scenarios, because when something sounds unusual or important, the brain naturally tries to find meaning in it, but now you have the awareness to handle that. You can observe those thoughts without following them, you can question them instead of believing them, and this is a very important shift, because once you stop giving attention to uncertain thoughts, they lose their intensity, and your mind becomes calm again, and that calmness allows you to stay focused on what is real instead of getting pulled into imagination. Think again about how real situations actually work, especially something as serious as inheritance. It always involves clear communication, verified identities, proper documents, and step-by-step processes, not sudden or mysterious instructions to open something immediately, and this simple logic is enough to keep you grounded, because it shows you that real life operates on clarity, not on confusion, and when you rely on that clarity, your thinking becomes stable and confident. The use of names like Archangel Michael in such messages may make them feel more meaningful or urgent, but now you understand that adding a powerful name does not make the message true, it only makes it feel stronger emotionally, and once you separate that emotional effect from reality, the message loses its impact completely, because you are no longer reacting to how it sounds. You are judging it based on what is actually real. Now bring your focus fully back to your present moment, where everything is normal, where no official communication has reached you, and where there is no real indication of anything unusual happening, and this is the most important truth, because it confirms that the message was only trying to create a temporary reaction in your mind, not reflect a real situation, and once you see that clearly, there is nothing left to analyze or worry about. At this stage, you are not just calm, you are in control, because you understand how your thoughts work, how messages like this are structured, and how to respond to them, and that awareness is what protects you, because it allows you to pause, observe, and think before reacting, and once you build this habit, you naturally stay stable and focused in every similar situation, because you are no longer influenced by urgency or mystery. You are guided by clarity and logic. If you are still here, then this is the stage where everything becomes completely clear and steady in your mind, because now there is no curiosity left, no confusion, and no emotional pull from that message, only clarity, and that clarity shows you that the message never had any real connection to your life. It only used a serious topic like inheritance and added mystery to make it feel important. But once you slowed down and thought logically, you realized that there was no proof, no source, and nothing in your real surroundings that supports it, and that is what removes its effect completely. Now you can also observe how your mind initially tried to respond. It may have searched for meaning, tried to connect it with something personal, or even imagine possibilities, but as you continued to think clearly, those thoughts started to fade, because they were not based on reality, and this is a very important realization, because it shows you that not every thought deserves your attention, especially when it is triggered by something unclear, and once you understand this, you naturally stop overthinking and start staying grounded in what is real. Think again about your real situation. Nothing has changed, no official communication has reached you, no verified source has contacted you, and your life is continuing normally, and this simple truth is enough to keep you stable, because real events always come with clarity and confirmation, not with vague and urgent messages, and when you rely on that logic, your mind becomes calm and confident again. Because you are not chasing something uncertain, you are staying connected to reality. The use of names like Archangel Michael may have made the message feel powerful at first, but now you clearly understand that true guidance never creates confusion or pressure, it never forces you to act immediately, instead it allows you to stay calm and think clearly, and that is exactly what you have done. You have stayed, you have thought, and you have reached clarity. And that clarity is what protects you from unnecessary stress and wrong decisions. At this point, you are fully in control of your response, because you are not reacting to curiosity or urgency anymore. You are guiding your thinking with awareness, and that awareness is what keeps you stable, because it helps you recognize what is real and what is not. And once you have that ability, you naturally stop giving importance to such messages, because you know they have no real value. In the end, this becomes a simple and powerful understanding, that not everything that sounds important is real, not everything that feels urgent is true, and not everything unknown needs your attention. And once you carry this understanding forward, you remain calm, focused, and in control in every similar situation, because you know how to pause, observe, and think clearly before reacting, and that is your real strength. If you are still here, then this is the stage where your understanding becomes completely firm and unshakable, because now there is no doubt, no curiosity, and no emotional pull left from that message, only clarity, and that clarity shows you that the message never had any real meaning or connection to your life. It only used a powerful idea like inheritance and added mystery to capture your attention. And once your attention was captured, it tried to push urgency so you would react quickly. But when you slowed down and thought logically, you broke that entire pattern, and that is why the message has no effect on you anymore. At this point, you also understand something deeper about your own thinking, that your mind naturally tries to find meaning in unclear situations, especially when something sounds important or unusual, but not every thought that comes into your mind is based on reality, and once you learn to question those thoughts instead of believing them instantly, your thinking becomes much stronger and more stable. Because you are no longer reacting automatically, you are responding with awareness, and that awareness is what keeps you in control. Now when you look back at the message, you can clearly see its structure. It used something valuable to attract you, something mysterious to hold your attention, and something urgent to remove your thinking time, and once you recognize this pattern, it becomes easy to identify similar messages in the future, because they all follow the same approach, and this recognition gives you confidence, because you know exactly how to handle them, not by reacting, but by pausing and analyzing. Bring your focus back again to your real life, where everything is normal, where no official communication has reached you, and where there is no real situation that matches what was claimed, and this is the most important truth, because reality is always clear and consistent. It does not statements, and when you stay connected to that reality, your mind remains calm and focused. Because you are not chasing something uncertain, you are grounded in what is actually happening. At this stage, you are not just free from the message, you are aware of why it had no value, and that awareness is what protects you in the long term, because once you understand how something works, it cannot easily affect you again, and this is what you have gained here, not just relief, but control over your thoughts and your reactions, and that control is what keeps you stable in any situation. In the end, this becomes a simple truth for you, that not everything that feels important is real, not everything that sounds mysterious is true, and not everything urgent deserves your reaction, and once you carry this understanding forward, you naturally remain calm, aware, and in control, no matter what kind of message appears in front of you, because you now know how to pause, observe, and think clearly before making any decision, and that is your real strength. If you are still here, then this is the final stage where everything becomes completely clear and settled in your mind, because now there is no confusion, no curiosity, and no emotional reaction left toward that message, only understanding, and that understanding shows you that nothing in your real life was ever connected to it, nothing changed, nothing was actually happening. And the message only created a temporary illusion of something important to capture your attention, and once you stopped giving it that attention, it lost all its effect, and that is the most important realization, that your reaction is what gives power to such messages, and when you take that reaction away, they become meaningless. At this point, you can also clearly see how your thinking evolved step by step, from curiosity to questioning, and from questioning to complete clarity, and that process itself is your strength, because it shows that you did not allow your emotions to control you. Instead, you used logic and awareness to guide yourself back to reality, and that is what keeps you stable. Because when you rely on what is real, you do not get lost in imagination or assumption, you stay grounded in facts. Now your mind is calm because it is no longer trying to search for meaning in something that had none, and this calmness is important, because it allows you to focus on your real life, your real decisions, and your real priorities, instead of being distracted by something unclear or uncertain, and when you stay connected to that reality, your confidence naturally increases, because you know that your actions are based on truth, not on fear or confusion. The use of names like Archangel Michael in such messages may have made them feel powerful at first, but now you understand that true meaning never comes with urgency or pressure, it never forces you to act immediately, instead it allows you to think calmly and understand clearly, and that is exactly what you chose to do, and that choice is what protected you from unnecessary stress and wrong decisions. At this stage, you are fully in control. Because you are not reacting to what you read, you are deciding how to respond based on awareness, and that awareness is what keeps your mind clear and your actions steady, because you are no longer influenced by sudden or dramatic statements, you are guided by logic and real experience. And now you reach the final truth, that your peace, your clarity, and your control always come from within you, not from outside messages, and once you understand this completely, nothing can easily disturb your mind again, because you are no longer reacting blindly, you are observing, thinking, and responding with awareness, and that awareness is your real strength, because it keeps you calm, stable, and in complete control of your thoughts and your reality.